Speaker, what is really of great concern to people in the region of Timmins-James Bay is the absolute disconnect in terms of this government's priorities. We see this is a government that will spend billions on prisons, billions on single-source contracts for fighter jets to fight the last Cold War. And yet within our region, more and more of our seniors are falling through the cracks. We're seeing right across our region people who are unable to heat their houses because the taxes that this government's imposing on home heating fuel. And the other real concern we're seeing is this government has completely abandoned seniors and working people in terms of affordable pensions, pensions that they can live on with dignity. And I'd like to ask my honourable colleague why he thinks it is that this government will bend over backwards to give the big oil companies and the big banks any kind of break that they ask for. Meanwhile, seniors are going to food banks, seniors are losing their homes, and Canadians are living with a larger and larger affordability gap in our country.
The honourable member for Outremont.
Priorities, Madam Speaker, and the Conservatives have been very clear about what their priorities are. Let's take one of the examples that my colleague just raised, the $16 billion untendered contract for fighter jets. If we took $700 million, in other words, if we took a very small percentage of the $16 billion, we could raise every senior citizen who now lives below the poverty line, above the poverty line, by adding to the income supplement that's available to them. That would be the right way to help people with taxpayers' dollars. Instead, the Conservatives gave a gift of $60 billion to Canada's richest corporations in the form of a tax cut that they absolutely did not need, that did nothing to produce new jobs. The real problem, of course, with the Conservatives is failing to internalize the costs of the oil sands. They've brought in an artificially high number of US dollars, forcing the loonie ever higher and hollowing out our manufacturing sector. Before the current crisis hit in 2008, from 2004 to 2008, according to Statistics Canada, we had already bled off 322,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs. Those are often jobs that came with a pension that would allow people to take care of their families now and themselves in the future. We're not only shoveling onto the backs of future generations the highest debt in Canadian history, we're shoving onto their backs the responsibility to take care of a whole generation of people who are going to come to retirement without an adequate pension, and that's a shame, Madam.
Questions and comments?